Oh wow, I have to play against Pantheon? Look how interesting and fun this is gonna be. Hit me with your interesting fun gameplay. Aw yeah. Am I dead? Oh, shit. Wow. Riddle me this. What's more interesting? Watching Pantheon automatically win the lane by pressing his fucking Q on cooldown until I'm pushed out? Or literally anything else? But Red's so fucking oblivious to it. No, let me tell you exactly what I recommend. Uninstalling!
They will not enjoy this.
So you might be confused. If you stopped by my stream recently, or you're a long-time viewer of my channel, you might be wondering, I have a problem with Pantheon. Isn't that the champion that Ross one-tricked for like a year? Well, believe it or not, yeah, as much as I love Pantheon, and a lot of that love actually comes from two sources: a really deep love of Greek mythology and history, and a need for survival. The first of which is because, man, Spartans are just really hella cool. And if you ever read up a bit on their culture, then you'll probably know that the movie 300 actually made them look like pussies compared to how truly badass they were in real life. But the second part, it was something else. See, if you know me, you know I'm not really that great at the game. The highest MMR I have ever played at is around the Diamond 5 to Diamond 3 region. But I've never reached past Plat 1. I got stuck on Plat 1 74 LP, and that was it for me. Now, whilst that is still in the top, like 5 to 10% of all players in the world or in EU West or whatever, I'm still the first person to admit that if you put 5 Plat 1s in a room against Faker, he'd very likely 1v5 us most of the time. And the majority of my lifespan on League of Legends has been spent in Plat 5, so that's even worse, to be honest, and God only knows how many Plat 5s it would take to bring Faker down. It is a place so cursed that very few who see the shores of Platinum Elo from Gold ever live to escape its treacherous grasp. Now, I had a big problem back in the day. I didn't really like to one-trick anybody in the game. I would just flip between champions a lot, and my gameplay was all over the fucking place, I'll be real with you. I liked to all-in, and I liked to all-in early in the game, and there were very few champions that could do that without me going 0-4 by the 10-minute mark. Now, enter Pantheon. Look at these stupid idiots, man. Look at our HP. What is this? We haven't got enough for a fucking body slam, man. Come on. Get it together, Gragas. Fucking hell. Look at this fucking idiot. What are you doing, Rakan? What are you doing, Zay? What the fuck is she? Why is Zaya still here? Oh, she's fucked, man. Get out of my way, Kane. I'm fucking going for it, boys. Yeehaw, partner. Fucking out my way. What do you think you're fucking doing as well, you stupid idiot? What are you getting fuck out of my way? Kill her! Fucking kill her! Fucking kill her! Okay. Yeah, Pantheon. He's a bit of a brainless champion, and that's both a good thing and a bad thing. So let me explain to you first why I think Pantheon is a good champion. Pantheon is a great champion to learn League of Legends. Undoubtedly, like his 7 IQ playstyle means that basically anybody can pick him up from any level of play and have a pretty good chance of success at him. I equate him to be Annie a top lane. A skill ceiling so absolutely terribly low that I have played this champion using slices of bread and still went 13-5 on him. With bread. I mean, you could seriously teach this champion to a cat and it might actually still do well in lane with a little bit of trial and error. I don't know, just rub some catnip on the buttons and hope for the best at that point. It's still a better chance than probably trying to teach an Iron 4 player how to actually play Pantheon anyway. But yeah, I mean, as far as Pantheon playing goes, I think he's fantastic for learning. Learning a CS, easier because your E has a guaranteed crit on low HP minions and champions, meaning last hitting is undeniably far easier. Learning how to trade against the enemy, knowing your kill range, and learning how to poke your enemy down to get him into that kill range. Your map awareness so that you can either use your ultimate to get away from a gank you know is coming that you wouldn't be able to flash from if you manage to go into a bush and teleport away, or catch a fight in the jungle at a moment's notice and get there before your laner does, or the mid laner does, or just anybody else that can help. You can turn 1v2s into 2v2s at a second's notice, and it is really, really powerful, and it really helps with your decision making. But this is also the issue. Since Pantheon is a character that appears to be specifically designed for brainlets with actual concave skulls that have long since demolished any would-be IQ that would be contained inside, his gameplay is so tiresomely predictable that lanes go either one of three ways. The enemy has no idea how to play against you, they do not respect you, and as a result, you obliterate them like Thanos Ross, to the point that the enemy team are ready to open by the 15-minute mark. Either that, or the enemy has even a vague understanding of how to play against Pantheon. Champions like Quinn, Sion, Thresh, Alistar, these can all very easily make you useless both in lane and out by making you unable to stun anyone ever. Like, seriously, if you're against a top lane Quinn who can cancel your W animation in midair, meaning you're unable to stun, and as such, you are unable to output half your damage and use your electrocute, you're in for a very rough lane. Even past the 30-minute mark, Pantheon kind of just becomes a stun bot who does a little bit of damage to squishies and stuff. That is not possible if you have a Thresh or an Alistar on the enemy team who know to keep your stupid ass off of any of the squishies. The Quinn in the game behind me did not do that thing. Or the third option, which is a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. You stomp lane, but lose game because you're unable to close out the game within 25 minutes. And with every passing minute that goes by, your enemy team starts to outscale you. I couldn't tell you the amount of times that I've seen a Jax get curb stomped into the earth by Pantheon early, or I've completely and utterly smashed a Jax into the ground, only to have them come back 50 minutes later to spew liquid shit all over Pantheon's face, like Escanor from the 7 Deadly Sins being exposed to the sun for 12 hours. And it's kind of expected, to be honest. Pantheon was released like over 8 years ago and has remained mechanically unchanged since then. It's safe to say that all of his intricacies, all of the little tricks, and all of his ways of fighting are kind of out in the open at this point. Like when you look at a Riven player, if you watch a Riven player play, you could tell a good one from a bad one based on their animation cancelling, the way that they move, the way that they choose how to pick fights, and the way that they like execute their abilities. But a Pantheon is never going to surprise you with what he's going to do. A Master Tier Pantheon player and a Bronze Pantheon player probably don't look as different as you'd actually think they would. You pretty much know 100% of the time what a Pantheon is going to do in a fight and how he's going to do it. He's going to throw his spear, he's going to leap in, he's going to use his E, then he's going to Q again, and he just entirely feeds off of an enemy's lack of positioning and a lack of respect for their enemy. Kind of similar to what I say about Heimerdinger or Singed. I think that a Singed player is only really good relative to how bad his enemy is. Like, if you see a Singed go 5-0 in lane, does that tell you that the Singed is a god? Or does that actually tell you that the enemy is a moron who either keeps chasing him or keeps going too close to him? You get what I'm saying, and it's the same for Pantheon. Like, pushing Pantheon out of lane post 6 and continuing to push his tower down solo, it's kind of asking for trouble. He's just gonna ult on your head and you're probably gonna die. And it's deaths like this that he needs to survive till about 30 minutes into the game. But why hasn't he been reworked yet? I mean, as far as gameplay goes, you heard it from Hishinshin yourself, he's pretty damn boring as far as all that goes. His abilities are ancient, probably older than a few of the people that play him, but his win rate still hovers around the 50% region, so I guess Riot just figure he's perfectly balanced and they aren't really interested in doing anything to him, even though that 50% pretty much just comes from the fact that he gets absolutely demolished by anybody who builds any form of tank, like Ornn, Sion, Cho'Gath. All these champions pretty much smash him to bits, whereas all the squishies, your Wukongs, your Jaxes, your Fioras, they get completely and utterly just fucking erased from existence whenever they touch a lane with Pantheon in it. It doesn't really ever turn into a skill matchup, it just turns into like how far down the pick order you are to actually be able to play Pantheon. Like, if the enemy first picks Sion, I know that I can just pick something else and win. But if I'm ever at like first pick and I take Pantheon, It's basically a coin flip whether or not the enemy want to like enter their lane and intentionally pick a champion I'm gonna smash to bits, or if they decide to actually play the lane well and pick something tanky, and I stand absolutely no hope of winning that lane in any fashion if they do so. But the whole win rate thing is actually really kind of bizarre. I mean, when you look at Nunu, he got reworked when he was incredibly strong. Pantheon had a lot of patches where he was pushing the 54% odd win rate region, but nobody seems to like pay any attention to him whatsoever, even when he did have a good win rate. He was rarely picked, rarely banned, but it's consistently expressed to in-game that they were a boring, unfun champion that's useless later in the game. Now maybe it's just me, but there is so much potential for a thematically ridiculous Spartan champion. Sparta was a city of completely batshit, insane men and women who thirsted for battle in any and all forms. Literally, their only drive and goals in life were to die in battle in the name of Sparta. To the point that in Spartan culture, the only way you were ever even given a burial with a headstone was if you either died in battle or died during childbirth. The only two feats that Spartans deem badass enough to be worth remembering: dying a blood-soaked death at the hands of the enemy, or bringing another soon-to-be badass murder machine into this world. Those are the only two things that you were ever going to be remembered for. You were just thrown into an unmarked grave if that wasn't the case in Sparta. That was it. I mean, hell, even if you didn't die in battle, old age was so heavily respected in Spartan culture because Spartans just thought it was so impressive that someone could live through 60 years of constant battle without falling once. The old people in Sparta basically didn't ever have to lift a finger. People would just do things for them because people thought that these old people were the most badass motherfuckers living on Earth. Now, if you couldn't tell, you know, I love fucking Sparta. I can fuck with Sparta heavily. Sparta is awesome, and Pantheon as a character is awesome. But I think it's about time that we maybe start looking or thinking about a rework here, because as far as abilities go, I don't think anybody who has to play or deal with a Pantheon is really having all that much fun at all. So, what do you think? Do you think Pantheon deserves a rework? Do you think he's okay? What do you think? Are you a Pantheon main like me? Give me some info. Or do you just like Spartan culture and Greek mythology and Greek history and all that kind of stuff? Because if you do, please talk to me about it, because I fucking love it, dude! Anyway, take care, have a good one, see you later, bye.